Hello, so today is my first video since I've gotten my ring light. I got one for Christmas and I'm so excited and I'm so happy with it. This is going to be books that I unhauled in 2020. I'm pretty sure there were more than this, so I will try to mention them. Um, I know there were more than this, but I'll try to mention all of the ones that I remember. But we'll go with what I have with me here right now that I haven't gotten rid of yet. I plan to give some of these away, either in little free libraries or um, like sell them at half price books or something. So, but for now, we will talk about them. So some of these there's nothing wrong with them. They just weren't my cup of tea, or I outgrew them. They've been on my shelf so long that I outgrew them, or they just weren't my favorite. So there's nothing wrong with them. You can't please everyone. So these books didn't make me happy, so I'm going to give them to someone else who hopefully will find joy in them. So the first book, and these are in no particular order, is called Ruined by Paula Morris. This is one that I just outgrew. I think someone bought it for me a long time ago, and I outgrew it before I had a chance to read it. So basically, this looks like a probably middle grade book. Um, it says Rebecca couldn't feel more out of place in New Orleans, where she comes to spend the year while her dad is traveling. She is staying in a creepy old house with Aunt Claudia, who reads tarot cards for a living, and at the snooty prep school, a pack of filthy rich girls treat Rebecca like she's invisible, only gorgeous, unavailable. Anton Gray seems to give Rebecca the time of day, but she wonders if he's got a hidden agenda. Then one night in Lafayette Cemetery, Rebecca makes a friend. Sweet and mysterious Lizette is eager to talk to Rebecca and to show her the nooks and crannies of the city, but there's one catch. Lizette is a ghost. So this sounds really good. Just a little young for me. I do read middle grade sometimes, but not nearly as often as I used to, considering I'm no longer that age. It just wouldn't be fair if I'm not really into it to try to read it because I won't like it probably. So, but I can give this to someone who will enjoy it. I'll probably leave it in a little free library or something, and someone will find it and probably fall in love with it or re-gift it again. So the next book is The Maze Runner. I asked for this for Christmas a few years ago, and I've tried to read it 3 or 4 times now, and I've just never been able to get through it. It is just so it's a slow book. Like everyone that I've met who has read it, like pretty much says, yeah, it's a slow start. Even the people who actually like the story and everything. It is just a slow book. I liked the movie better personally. It was just like a lot faster paced and like just more entertaining, but this I just couldn't get into it, which is a shame because it has great reviews and it's a really interesting story. Basically, these teenagers are trapped in a maze. It is basically like the apocalypse has come, and they're like all dropped off in this like maze, and there are no adults. They have to figure out how to survive on their own, and they have to get out of the maze before they die because they've been there for a while, but it's very clear that like at some point they're going to have to leave. So they have to figure out how they're going to do that. And then one day, like this particular maze, in this book is all boys, and then one day a girl shows up, and so it's like a big to do, like why is there suddenly a girl? And of course they're all like fighting over her and like really curious about her and everything. But and the other catch is that no one remembers their lives prior to arriving in the maze. Like they remember like bits and pieces, but like they pretty much remember nothing. So this whole book is about them trying to get out of the maze. And then the next books in the series are them like obviously like something happens, and there are other books in the series, but like yeah, this is the first book. I just couldn't get into it, not for lack of trying. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Um, so the next one is this has also been on my shelf for years and years and years, and I've been slowly reading it. I finally gave up this summer because I was like, this book just puts me to sleep. It's really interesting. It's a biography of Cleopatra by Stacy Schiff. It's really good. It's really well written, very well researched. Like it's very interesting information. It just puts me to sleep. It is a dense read, and I just had such a hard time. And I was like, no book should have to take years to be read. Um, so it's not worth living on my shelf if I'm not gonna read it. And I just can't get through it without falling to sleep. So I was like, it needs to go. But it's very well researched. So like if you like Cleopatra or you like reading nonfiction, you might enjoy this. But it's too dense for me, and that's saying something because I love reading history books, and I I'll read anything, but this just put me to sleep. It became a bedtime book for a while, and even then I could only read a couple pages before I started nodding off. So it's gotta go. I had to DNF it. Next book is or books, I suppose. It's an entire series. This is the Sisters of Isis series by Lynn Ewing. I think I just outgrew these. These came out in like around 2006, 2007. It's a neat idea. It's a YA concept that was like really popular um, during that time, it seems like, because I have some other books on my shelf that are really similar. Like she also wrote the Daughters of the Moon series, which I read. Um, actually, is this book two? I read one of these, and I loved it as a teenager, but I did not like these. And I read book one recently, and I hated it. Like the characters were just kind of annoying. They were really whiny. And maybe I thought that because I'm not a teenager anymore. Maybe I just have outgrown this. Like I've just starting to outgrow YA, but these were annoying. And I typically enjoy YA, but these main characters were whiny. Um, like it was very much like the kind of like superheroes or like goddesses who don't want their powers and are ungrateful. It was also pretty predictable. Like it was really obvious who was going to be the bad guy. Um, yeah, I just didn't enjoy these, so I'm not sure when this was published, but maybe this was like later, or maybe these were later and her writing style changed and I just didn't care for it. But I don't know, when was this published? That will tell me. Yeah, this was published later. So these were published earlier. So she must have improved her writing because I read either book one or two of this series and I loved it. So, and I need to read this one, but that's gonna clearly take a while. So, not anytime soon. Um, but we'll see if I enjoy this as much as I enjoyed the other book in this series, but I did not care for those. Um, Not to say that there's anything bad about them, they just, they weren't for me. So I DNF'd the rest of the series. I think I read book two as a teenager and then got the rest of the series, never got around to it, finally got around to it this summer, and was like, these aren't that great. So the next book is Hot Stuff by Carly Phillips. This is obviously a smut. Um, it was okay. I think I got to about the middle point and I was like, predictable. I like romance novels with a bit of a plot. Like, there can be some steamy stuff in there, but there needs to be a plot. Like, this basically didn't have a plot, and I felt like I was just reading like a really smutty kind of exaggerated version of a Hallmark movie, if that makes sense. Like a steamier version of a Hallmark movie. Meh. So I didn't finish it because I was like, I've got better books on my shelves that are waiting to be read, and yeah. Plus, it's also it's like a sports romance. So I didn't really care for that. I like historical romance or like contemporary, but I'll read you the back. So it says Annabelle Jordan and her two sisters were orphans in frilly dresses when they went to live with their sports lawyer uncle in his world of locker rooms, bookies, and gambling. Now the girls are publicists in their uncle's firm, the Hot Zone. Despite their upbringing, Annabelle is all woman. She's naturally drawn to real men like her latest client, businessman and former football legend Brandon Vaughn. The chemistry is potent, undeniable, irresistible. Annabelle soon realizes that Brandon is much more than just another jock and that she'd better hold on tight if she doesn't want to lose her heart. Predictable. It's a romance. Like, it obviously it's gonna be predictable, but I have a couple on my shelf right now that have some substance. Like, there's some interesting things going on in between the steamy parts. So I'd rather read those instead of just erotica. That is the end of my unhaul. Um, so yeah, let me know if you liked this video, and I will make more. Go ahead and hit like, and subscribe. That would be really, really awesome. And see you again.